Yeah, champion, Brooklyn, spin the yard with me. I got bars too, you heard? I'm a mathematician with the bars, my intros is going hard, my interviews getting bigger, the guests know I'm a star. Always knew that I was realer, was held up by the frauds who didn't believe my vision, I had to prove them wrong. Then I rose up out the mud like concrete in a rose. The difference is I wasn't picked up and taken home. 4 walls in the cot, had to prove if you real or not. Gotta protect yourself with a lock in the sock, coming out the box, that shit apparent. The tarot card said I was destined for blessings in abundance, but my heart I had to protect it, didn't listen. And grandma in my ears steady bitching. I was falling blinded by the lights flashing in my vision. False presentation, money, cars, girls, pagan world. Sick of being broken, hungry nights made me wanna earl. Curled up in a pissy bed, stick up boys rain in the crib, looking for Calvin and Savior bread in the mattresses. Dead upon arrival, I swear with my left hand on the Bible. Mama grabbed that Mossberg and started clapping for our survival. This is the facts, I ain't even capping. Trapping got its course and I ain't paying for shit to happen. Niggas spin the yard, huh?
But best decision I ever made.
Absolutely.
Best decision I ever made.
You've
You know
done
what I
nothing
mean?
but hits since then.
Yo. So that was kind of
that.
like the connection. And then I started rapping at first for a little bit. And then everybody was like, bro, you play drums, man. Like, you should, why don't you produce? And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
It's like, what's when you're making the beats to, you know, the songs you're hearing on the radio, the beats. And shout out to Buck Wild. I know you know Buck Wild, legendary producer Buck Wild was actually the one to say that to me. And and I went with him to the studio one day and kind of mirrored him. And it was one.
So how did that happen? How did you even meet Buck Wild?
So my mom and like there was some kind of relationship with him and my mom. Like my mom's friend was like the god sister or god daughter for him, and some kind of connection.
Right.
So she mentioned him. She mentioned me to him. Like, can you just? He's talking about all this beats and music and production. I know that's what you do. Just come scoop him up one day if you can, and just see if he's really serious. And he did that. Brought me to the crib. I'm seeing the drum machines everywhere and the records everywhere. And
you had no idea about the digital aspect. You just knew about analog.
Yeah.
Right.
So one day he's like, yo, we gonna go into the city. And I'm like, all right, cool. And one day he went and played beats for Busta. He went to play beats for, rest in peace, Black Rob. Went to play beats for Missy. Like, and I'm watching him go in there one day, go in there, each studio, press play, and I'm looking at like looking at my favorite artist in the world choose beats that he made from scratch. And I'm like, and this is all day. And then he finally was on the way home, and he was like, yeah, bro, so that's me being a producer, that's production. And on that day, I probably was like 14, 15 years old. That day was the day I was like, this is it. And I came home and I was like, yup, that's what I want to be. I shared with my parents. They wasn't really down with it. But
really, but it's like your mom's made this introduction.
I guess she was trying to see if I was for real or just gonna maybe get me out the house. Like, who knows what the real idea or thought process was. But yeah, I came home and I was like, that's what I want to do. And they didn't understand it, and I didn't really care. Like, I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do. And that was kind of the moment when I decided.
What year was this around?
Shoot, I'm 44.
So 14.
So I mean, I say I graduated high school in '99. So yeah, I had to be like 94, 95, like somewhere around there. Yeah,
Dang.
96. Yeah.
So Busta was just going solo at that time.
I remember "Put Your Hands" was
yeah, that was like 97.
Yeah,
that came out.
So that was out because all my beats, and I got to actually tell him this when he got his honorary doctorate, and I told him the story. You probably seen it online when I'm like, yo, bro, when I started making beats as a producer, all my beats had the "Put Your Hands" drum pattern to it. And he was in tears, yo. And Buck was like, Buck Wild was like, yo, bro, you, like, that's producing, but you can't, like, keep making every beat you make with that beat.
Yeah.
And that's the song that's out, like, right now. Like, it's different if you was sampling. You know what I'm saying? Go getting something older and then recreating that. But you taking a smash record right now. And making that beat and adding new music to it. So you can't do that, bro. This song is rocking right now. I shared that with Busta. He was in, and I'm gonna send you the clip. We can add it to this. He was in tears.
Yeah.
Yo, in tears.
That's crazy because that song was it's still infectious to this day.
To this day, that song, come on, bro. Just the pattern and the beat. And the melody and just everything Busta was doing, and then when you think about the music video and the creativity
the visuals
that happened with that, bro, which is nothing nowhere near what's going on today. And I get it, because you know there was budgets back then for that.
Right.
But bruh, still a legendary song. We in 2025.
And it's still being sampled. So it's a timeless record.
Crazy.
So, all right, so you go back home, you tell your parents, yo, you know, this is what I want to do. Obviously, you wanted a beat machine or something.
Yo, yeah.
So what is it that you wanted, and if you did get it, what was the machine?
Strong no. Strong no. Strong no. That, what I wanted at the time, what I needed at the time was the MPC 2000.
I was thinking that.
Feel me? Mm-hmm. That joint was 1,300 off the rip and ain't come with no sounds. So you buying the machine, you got to sample. You got to sample drums. You got to, yeah.
So you needed the maybe a 1200 Technique record.
Yeah, bro.
Scratch it from 12 vinyl. Right.
It's a hard, super strong no.
That's crazy.
So I didn't even get to touch none of that for years, right? The first keyboard I touched was like a Roland, I think it was an XB20 or XB30 or XB50, and then it was an Ensoniq keyboard. So there were keyboards that was full workstations.
Yeah.
Right, where you can create the entire track in the keyboard, the drums and everything. Now the problem with that was
they only gave you a limited amount of tracks.
No. You can roll with the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
My issue was the drums weren't hard enough.
Okay.
So when I was playing beats for
A&Rs, sound like the light ass acoustic.
Yeah.
Drums.
And they was like, yo, these are dope, but your drums ain't hitting, and that's an issue because at the end of the day, I'm a drummer first.
Yeah.
So my drums gotta be on point, bro, because that's the strong point for me, man, and that was the issue that I kept having. So it took me a while to, really understand that and be able to invest in that and get on that equipment. So it took me years to get my own equipment. So I was on my partner's equipment. I was using other people's equipment, man, and borrowing the minister of music at my church's keyboard and taking it home and making beats like that. So it was a long time before I was able to get my own.
Okay, so during this process, you didn't get the machines. You were using your minister's keyboard. What were you doing with the beats? You were just building a catalog. And were you still in a relationship with Buck Wild?
I love that question, because when you think about 2025 and you think about the creatives today, like no one wants to shoot in the gym, right? Meaning, it was years before anybody heard anything. Because I just was like, I want to get to that point where the music and the tracks are so dope. Now I can play them for you. My colleagues, my friends, the homies heard it,
right?
But like no one on the professional level was able to hear it because I didn't want them to. I didn't want to play anything for anybody until I felt like I reached that point and got to that level. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely cranking out heat right now.
Right.
And when we think about today and all of the creators today, like they fast forward. Somebody could start producing yesterday. Start becoming artists yesterday, and next thing they know is 3 songs out on all platforms by the weekend.
Right. That's a fact.
It's like, yo, you didn't really take the time to really hone in on like your craft, who you are. Like, who are you creatively? Do you know who you are creatively, or are you influenced by that of what you are influenced by?
What's trending?
Which is what I was doing when I started making beats, making the put your hands beats behind everything, because I was influenced by that. I was inspired by that. But you got to be able to create your own. And that takes time to develop, to have an understanding of what it is you're doing. Especially for me as a producer, I have to learn equipment. And we ain't reading no manuals.
Yeah, no. You gotta learn.
I gotta learn. I gotta understand. I gotta understand what I need to learn, bro. And that's the thing. I really took the time to really learn and develop. So by the time I came out and was ready to play music for artists and A&Rs and labels, bro, I was
How old was you, say?
It didn't take long, bro. Like maybe 16, 17.
And who was the first maybe label or artist you played your music for after you honed your craft?
See, I think one thing about me, I really took advantage of like events.
Okay.
So like I was one to always pull up at an album release party or like a listening event, or just to kind of build rapport and meet people and introduce myself. And I had a cassette tape out there. Beats on cassette tape, and then I had beats on CDs, and give out my beat CDs in hopes of somebody hearing something and then using something, right? So I made a lot of connections, and that back then we had the SkyTel two-way pages.
Two-way pages, yeah, that was 2000.
Yeah,
2001. Yep.
So for back then, you wasn't even in the industry unless you had one of those.
That's a fact.
So I had to save money and look the part and be like, yo, okay, I need that. I need the Nextel chirp joint. I need these specific things. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. So that's what it was for me. I'm trying to think who was first. Probably Buck, and I got introduced to Derek D. Angeletti, who was one of the
Shout out to Derek D.
Yeah, my big brother. So I started playing my beats for other producers, and they were co-signing like, yeah.
So you played it for Buck,
yeah,
D-Dot,
for D-Dot,
and this was like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, bro, this is early.
So this is a time because I remember things by what albums came out during that year. So 2000, you had the Dynasty, you had S. Carter Collection, Volume 3 came out fourth quarter '99 going into 2000. You had Big Pun's year.
When did Life After Death come?
97.
Yeah. So we before. So then actually it's before 2000 because I remember Life After Death. I remember I was on a bus going to church, suited and booted, and you know we ain't had no internet and nothing online, so I started overhearing people say, "Yo, Biggie got shot. Biggie died."
Oh wow!
I learned on a Sunday on the bus going to church.
Right.
So I would say 97, 98 was kind of like when I was in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's when you was playing your music for different producers, and the producer, you basically honed your skill. Said, all right, I'm ready to get outside and network. You networked, you already had Buck Wild, Speed Dial. He must have told you also, like, keep working.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And then now you say, all right, here goes some joints that I made. They listen to it, they give you their critique and stuff like that. How did you playing beats for them transition into you getting placements?
Just spin the yard, huh?